I was excited to hear about the lost garden, and I sort of poo-hooed the idea that it was a lost garden until I came and realised yes it was, because it was very overgrown and probably had benign neglect for a long time. So it was a lovely project that had been tampered with before I got to it. Very often when you go into a new project, people decide to tidy it up before you get there, and they eliminate an awful lot of evidence that they don't recognise as evidence. So walking down into the area of the lost garden, everything was left untouched and waiting to be discovered. The gardens in the time of Lady Clonwilliam would have been a beautiful ladies' garden, full of flowers, alpines, perennials, roses, because we found a lovely old arbour eventually, or the remains of an old arbour, and we then found the footpath underneath it, and then the lovely chain bridge across the stream, and you get a lovely sense that it was a very intimate space. And then when you came down the path and discovered the glass house, you realised there was a lot of activity went on here too. I would imagine in her day, as she proceeded down from the house to that area, the gardeners melted into the background and let her be with her and her friends there. Couldn't have operated a great estate unless you had at the core a small glasshouse complex, potting shed, bothies, and areas for storage and outdoor frames to grow on and harden off plants, vital to the whole enterprise. If you compare it to an archaeological site and you find something that you don't understand and you think is archaeology, you do not start digging with a spade. You wait for an archaeologist to come along and decipher what's going on and then give guidance on how to conduct the proper thorough search. In fact, we did use some archaeological techniques when we were looking for the lost garden, looking at the ground and doing little cross sections to find the paths and finding the metals, so it was quite exciting.
The lost gardens, because there's two primary aspects. We have the base of a range of historic glass houses, and every country estate would have had a range of glass houses, produced all of the fresh fruit and vegetables for the house, and the base is still remaining. From that we can interpret what was there. But then we also have the remainder of the lost garden, which is early 20th century recreation of an imagined natural landscape. So the garden became the lost garden because that's often what happens to parts of gardens and country estates when there's changes in staff, and possibly a lot of the male staff left in the war, and it became very overgrown. Glass houses in particular are incredibly delicate structures, and most of the glass houses that were built in country estates in Ireland don't survive.
And it's huddled down close to the river, so you get a sort of microclimate happening down there as well. You get the sound of the water, you get the humidity coming off the water, which is beneficial to a lot of plants. And of course the heated glass house made a huge difference to what they were able to grow. And a lot of what was growing in the glass house would be carried up into the house when in flower and displayed in the house, and then brought back when the flowering was finished to rest again.